This video is about day trading mindset and getting your psychology right. But a quick story before we get into that. Early on when I was a day trader, I would revenge trade. I would get into impulse trades. I let fear and greed take a hold of me. I would take big bets, hoping to win big and flipping my account from 500 to 5,000, and none of this stuff worked. But over time, I quickly realized that it wasn't really about strategy, but it was also about mindset. So once I made that shift, I started to see some change. So in this video, I'm gonna share the top 5 things you need to develop a winning mindset when it comes to day trading. So let's get into it. So number 1, discipline. I know it sounds cliche, but it's everything. You're literally watching money go up and down. You're making decisions based off of what's happening throughout the day. You're making decisions based off of news. Maybe you got into an argument with your girlfriend. Maybe you got into an argument with one of your coworkers. Maybe you just got an unsudden bill, right? All these things play into the factor of your decision-making process. If you are skewed to having a worse day or skewed to having even an amazing day, you might be overly optimistic or overly pessimistic. That's gonna throw off your objective skills to actually see what's going on in the market. So discipline is really, it's just crucial, because if you don't have discipline, you're not running a business. You're just basically gambling. My biggest piece of advice is to trade on logic and not emotion. So number 2, risk management. Risk management is so important because when I used to trade on my smartphone, I thought it was pretty cool because it's like, hey, I can live this lifestyle, I can make money on my phone. And there was a lot of people that were saying the same thing. But what I realized, there was no risk management tools on my MT4, on my MT5. I literally had to get a lot size calculator and do some math just to figure out what lot size I should enter on my position, right? And so that was just a lot. I just wanted to trade. If I saw something, I wanted to get in. And a lot of the times people would just be like, oh, you just do a 0.5 or do a whole standard lot on this $500 account. And so they didn't know what they were doing. I didn't know what they were doing. And I was just following people that just told me what to do, right? As far as risk management. But these days, it's really about risking 1 to 2% per trade. I know it sounds pretty boring, and there's a lot of gurus that are making a lot of money off of affiliates. They're making commissions off of broker signups. So they have a lot of money from other sources so they can actually make riskier bets. That way they can play that on their YouTube channel and so forth, right? You don't want to do that, because if you're a real trader, let's say you're a funded trader, you don't want to risk losing that account. Let's say you do have your own money. Maybe you have 10, 20, 30, $50,000 and you're risking 10% on one trade. That means you only have 10 trades before you blow your entire account. You know what I mean? So really just pay attention to how you're making your risk in the market. Trade Locker, it's a great platform. TradingView, you can literally hit your risk and type in 1%, right? Or you can do a cash basis. So if you only want to risk $500 per trade, you can do that. And then all you got to do is drag your stop loss and you take profit and you're off to the races. Number 3, continuous learning. If you have a strategy that you've learned 3 or 4 years ago, that's great. Maybe it's working for you, maybe it's doing okay. But there's ICT and all these other new strategies that are bubbling up and they're trending. You never want to stop, because the more knowledge you have, the more you're going to be able to see opportunities in the market. I'm not saying graffiti your entire chart with all these indicators and strategies, and you've ever seen those charts that just look crazy? You don't want to do that. You want to stick to, you want to have a core strategy that you implemented yourself, right? That you favor and that favors your strategy, right? But you also want to incorporate, based off of these strategies, it's also confirming that I can get into this trade, that I can get into this position. Because it's really about having more perspective so you can actually make those logical decisions. Again, going back to logic over emotion, right? If you only have one vantage point, how are you going to get better as a day trader? Before we get into 4 and 5, I want to invite you to my free Discord group. We share strategies, we trade live, we have market insights, and it's just a great place to connect with other traders. So if you're interested, click on the link in the description below and let's get it. Number 4, patience and timing. I still do this. but I have to really hold myself back from just getting excited and wanting to get into a trade. What I realized is every time I opened up my charts, right, on TradeLocker or MT4 or even TradingView, I got excited. I forced myself to see an opportunity just so I can get into a trade, just so I can actually make some money. And I just want to say that that's just not the way to do it. If you find yourself getting into a trade every single time you open up your charts, you're doing something wrong. You're doing something absolutely wrong. And I'm here to tell you that it's all about patience and timing. Because if you're rushing to get into trades, that goes back to emotion. You need to take a step back, mark your charts up, do some back testing, right? And stick to your plan. Number 5, adaptability and consistency. See, you have to adapt to the market. Sometimes you're gonna be in a bullish market. Sometimes you're gonna be in a consolidating market. You might be in a bearish market. Or maybe the strategy that you've used in the last 2 years isn't really working anymore. You don't wanna just take a break or try to find an entire new strategy just because your current trading situation isn't working. You need to adapt, maybe make some adjustments. And when I say adjustments, that doesn't mean swap out the entire tuxedo to get a new one. No, go to a tailor and get some adjustments. Maybe you have some growing pains. Maybe you have a bigger account that you're managing and psychologically you're not used to it. So there's many other factors that play into your strategy. And sometimes you just have to adapt and get better. All right, y'all, so if you found this video helpful, go ahead and do me a favor and subscribe. I actually do have a $25,000 prop firm journey that I'm documenting. It's actually pretty cool because I'm documenting my wins, my losses, and hopefully I do get funded. You know, that's the whole point. If you want to get entertainment out of something like that, go ahead and subscribe. I'll put the playlist up here somewhere. Hey man, I really appreciate you tuning in, and hopefully this gives you a little bit of inspiration. That way you can continue doing what you're doing, and looking forward to meeting you in the Discord group as well. Peace.